Just a year ago, the University of Florida took center stage as Billy Donovan's young Gators came within one game of a national championship. Wildcats from the Bluegrass, Kentucky and Florida, in his mid-30s now, and stabilizing what could be a true dynasty here in Florida with Parker, Haslam, and Brent Wright. Wright will start this game, even though he has that stress fracture, is likely to come out of the game very early. Really happy to have you here for it. The SEC Eastern Division crown at stake. The opportunity to tie, in fact, a tri-championship. Mississippi could also have a share of the outright SEC title.
Prince has just been on fire. The month of February turns it over.
Dupay leaves it for Nelson. That's his spot.
13-3.
Nelson running the curl. Rejected by Parker. Good end-to-end games that won't stop unless there's a whistle to stop action. These guys are perpetual motion. Dupay off the ball fake.
He got pitch airborne, and Teddy made him pay. And Brent Wright, who's fought through injury, in fact, a stress fracture, playing with pins in his left hand.
In his convalescence. Local product. This Gator team can go awfully deep, even with the injuries. Dupay.
Falling away.
If you don't think he knows the importance of this game, going out last game of the season, Dupay embodies what Billy Donovan wants on the floor. They go to the table to select.
Look at that. Estel, Marquise Estel comes in, the jersey's on backwards.
Well, fundamental move, and I think a lot of youngsters are starting to see that more and try to imitate it.
Daniels going over the back.
5, possibly 6 charges already. Very similar call. So, as I mentioned earlier, that little pull-up jumper is very important in basketball.
Dupay gets the deflection with those quick hands of his against Hawkins.
He's almost a medical miracle when you think that he had back surgery and came back still not 100%, but instant adrenaline.
Just mind over matter. Really trust the doctors and what they did. Great job with his rehabilitation and came back very strong.
Parker of the day for Kentucky. They're down a dozen, 13 minutes deep into the opening half.
Well, one thing about Kentucky is they play good defense, so they're capable of, shutting you down and coming back from a deficit. But they're not going to get it done with that kind of defense.
Teddy Dupay has been lights out.
It's going to be very hard to steal the ball from Teddy Dupay. You may be able to contain him a little bit, but reaching or trying to go for a steal, he's just too savvy. And really, for a small stature, he's a very strong player. Great upper body and strong legs.
Florida has 13, as we told you earlier. Kentucky's not been able to cash in on the turnovers they've picked up.
There's that high pick and roll drive by Dupay that just collapses the defense. It's a very good offense. When he comes off of that high pick down the lane, he brings the weak side defender over just enough to kick it out to Holton, and that was an excellent. Now, Bonner on Prince is a little stronger, and that's what's slowing Prince down. He doesn't have the strength to compete the power game with Bonner.
Tough pass for Saul. Dupay picks it off.
Dictate their offense, out pushing the ball. Teddy Dupay starting with a hot hand from the outside and then penetrating and collapsing the defense out to Nelson. They've really done an excellent job.
Halftime stats. The three-point shooting has really been the difference in the game.
Move on the low post.
That brings back memories of big game, James.
Boy, that was exciting.
Well, with the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund. A tradition fourth way to
Get there is pounding the ball inside, trying to take advantage of the mismatch.
Nice crossover move. A good find to Nelson.
There's the defense on the other end. Brent back to Dupay. Little two-man game. Oh, my. Count it and a foul.
Well, look at the last basket by Dupay, and this is what Florida has done well. They've penetrated to get the easier bucket. Post-up player.
11 in the game for him. Lead back down to a dozen. Nelson creates the room.
Change the things based on the competition.
Well, I have a different philosophy come tournament time. I'm a big believer in you take more risks, you push the tempo even more, and you don't get conservative, because I think the players start to feel that pressure and they play with a fear of failure rather than trying to succeed.
Dupay hits it to make it a 13-point lead. So adept in different places on the floor.
Well, he's an offensive machine, meaning he can score anywhere on the floor with a variety of moves. He's an offensive rebounder, just a versatile player. Paint like water and cracks to get open, and Kentucky is doing a good job of setting some back picks and some cross screens to get open.
Dupay fouled by Fitz from three-point range. Dupay reminded him more of Travis Ford. Here's why.
Well, he's a shooter with range, and particularly since he's taken over the two spot and steps up to make the big plays defensively and offensively. And for a guy who's had a shoulder and a back surgery just coming back in January, not 100%, he's tough.
60-49. Cliff Hawkins in the game now for Kentucky. They go small, and there's a reach-in foul by Teddy Dupay. That'll be number 3 on test in the Trans-America Athletic Conference Championship. But since they didn't, that helps some of the teams that are on the cusp out of the elite conferences. There's the dump down. Boy,
you have to get to him quickly, otherwise he flights out. He makes his move. You're helpless. He's moving you out of the way, and he goes outside and hits a little jumper.
I see a post-up, a face-up. Udonis playing like Adonis. Kentucky's committed 16 turnovers. The last one an unforced error.
There's that high pick by Bonner at the top that's just going to get Kentucky trouble.
I think Saul may have gotten away with a flop here.
Well, there's the penetration, and Parker on the spin move.
On a rejection. Bonner stays with it. A jump hook in the paint. Is there anything in his arsenal we have not seen? An SEC title at stake.
Coaches design and play for their best players to get open. I look for Kentucky to go to Prince, and I guarantee you Billy Donovan's going to draw up something for either Haslam or Dupay.
Too many special talents on the floor, and so the question always becomes, when you've got that many guys that can beat you, whom do you want to take advantage of? And off the ball, Teddy Dupay really got racked. A little slippage down there, more moisture on the floor. This is a very warm building today. These two teams have been heating it up since the outset. Teddy off his back and through the nylon.
When you think he's not going to shoot, just off the floor.
Finally the foul.
Contact. He gets right up off of his buns, and with no hesitation, Saul Smith giving him too much airspace and knocks it down.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, Billy Donovan's right about him. He's better when he plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Absolutely.
I mean, he wants to play angry. And he brings a lot of joy with his anger.
He does, and that's contagious. You want a guy like that on your team. Not arrogant, but just very, very confident. As we take a look at the right time, because that was Haslam's rebound. It just trickled out of his hand.
Stone got in the way of that pass by Brett Nelson.
That driving kick, it works every time, and you know what that...
They're on their feet, bringing back memories of Alligator Alley. Got a dump down to Haslam.
Well, they have to get to him because there's no stopping him once he gets...
I'm a little surprised they didn't double team.
They have to double him. I mean, you got to get it out of his hands immediately. He's unstoppable today. I can look on his face.
Hurt, of course, so was Brent Wright. Justin Hamilton, who's out for the year, and he said, you know, the thing that Coach Donovan's done with us is he's allowed some of us, Brett, myself, and A few others to get out of the game right before the TV timeout so we could get a little extra rest. Billy Donovan has depth now, but this team had to learn to play more minutes, and the coach had to learn on the fly, not being as deep as normal. The crowd appreciates it. Still a title on the line for as much as possible to give his team a chance. Gators' perimeter shooting has been the catalyst today. That's been the difference. They have led by as many as 13 in this half, 15 in the first half. They're playing for a shot at a share of the Southeastern Conference Championship. In fact, a victory by them would force a tri-championship. Ole Miss, winners of the SEC Western Division, would tie and would fly it back as well. And Bonner hits another tray. Big Matthew Bonner. And allowing his three-point shooters to be the difference. And Tubby Smith's team so gritty on the defensive end, giving his club a chance on the road.
Got to be a passer out of this timeout.
Nice triple team, the trap, forcing the timeout from Florida with 1:05 remaining. And, you know, Tubby Smith's teams are all about defense. In the double bonus with both teams. And a quick foul given up by Hawkins. A little incidental contact, little woofing between Teddy Dupay. He likes that. He does a lot of trash talking during the course of a game, and Hawkins came back for one. I think John Clockerty was wise not to whistle that.
Just gave him the look. And yeah, Cliff Hawkins going over and apologizing. Foul had been called, and Hawkins tried to flip the ball out of Dupay's hands and ended up hitting him in the chin with the basketball.
Yeah, I think he feeds off that, though. Teddy,
oh, yeah.
Teddy enjoys that. He reminds me, I'll tell you another player. Tao.
Ronnie Tao.
Thompson.
David Thompson on the alley-oop, and you couldn't dunk then.
That's right. They cost left. Georgetown, Notre Dame, or Missouri, Kansas coming up next. And a bump prior to the ball being triggered inbounds. There's an outside shot at a #1 seed. Maybe a #2 seed would be more likely.
#1 seed is always good. No 16 seed is beating the #1 seed. However,
oh, look at Bogans keeping alive. Finally, Parker pulls it down, and a reach-in foul by Bogans.
I tell you, boy, that was a two. You want to know where the beef is? That's where the beef is. Those two guys are dense.
Bogans, Kentucky, Teddy Dupay of Florida, 28 and 29 respectively. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Bonner also played a role. 12 points, 8 boards, 4 assists. Playing with that stress fracture, they're trying to bring him along slowly. They get him back in for his last 4.4 seconds in a home game. His first year, he'll likely be a head coach one day, giving Parker a hug. That will do it. 3 SEC titles belonging to Ole Miss, Florida, and Kentucky. So for James Worthy, this is our final 94-86 Florida. Next, it's Georgetown.